All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, start by saying, call Allah Amla Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Chakodash, which give all praise to the Heavenly Father, name His Son, and we're in it called God and Jesus Christ. I also want to give double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstones, rule well, teach me His truth, as well as say shalom to the hopeful elect, or the I can push His word, truth, and sincerity. The Lord wills to be edifying lesson, man. To spirit, not made this too long, so I want to speak on this while it was on my spirit. All right. Also, was going through the fact how the kingdom, the earth is in need of new rulership, man. All right, right now you currently have the third part of man, or the sons of the wicked, ruling over the earth, man. And it's evident, man. It's very clear. It's abundantly clear that there is a wicked man ruling this world, man. All right, this is why you have all these different philosophies and doctrines. Men dealing with men. You have women out of order. You have all these. You have pedophilia running wild. You have just all types of manners of wickedness, and iniquity, man, that sit upon sin running throughout the earth, man. Scriptures tell you, matter of fact, let's get in 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, in verse 5. It says, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." It's going to say why, verse 6. "For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." Right, so that's why the Lord can destroy this place, man. All right, and of course, we go to the world, there's 3 different meanings, man. All right, these scriptures were translated, all right, throughout, the generations, man. All right, to different, kindreds and tongues, all right, and in these latter days, man, the Lord has, put the spirit on our elders and apostles, or our teachers, to go into these different words and the meaning of them, man. All right, you go into the word world, it goes to the multiple meanings in the Greek, okay, which is where these scriptures were translated from, and it goes to cosmos, eon, and oikomen here, right? And right here, this word is eon, which pertain to a certain period of time, okay? So ultimately, there's a certain age, that the earth is about to the Lord about to do away with, man, or that age, that time period of the wicked men ruling the world, man. All right, and it says because why the wickedness has seen through the earth, man, their hurtful works are fulfilled. All right, and of course the Lord is going to let them get to a certain point, man, because this devil will destroy himself, man. He'll destroy everybody. All right, and everything. Okay, ultimately, that's what his ultimate end goal is, man. He wants to play the Most High. All right, he has that God complex pursuing the 2nd Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, and ultimately, until he won't be satisfied until he has that complete dominion. But that's why the Lord will come with intervention, man, that divine intervention. All right, when you go to Job the 14th chapter, all right, scriptures tell you how as a bounds he cannot pass. So it's only about so far the Lord can let this devil rule and let his rule go. All right, before he intervenes, man. All right. And what's he gonna do when he intervenes, man? He's gonna lift up that standard. All right, pursuing Isaiah 59th chapter. Let me get there, Isaiah. There's Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19. It says, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him." Right, of course, the enemy is Esau, man, as well as the rest of these heathen nations, but it's chiefly talking about Esau, man, because in these latter days, he's the devil's about to come down having great wrath. The scriptures talk about in Revelation 12 and 12, okay? That's what it's talking about, all right? The deceivers, they are the wicked, man, all right? Also, they're the ones who boast themselves against the Heavenly Father. They're the ones who've been lifted up and ruling as it was prophesied in the latter days, man. There'll be a certain nation of people that will have that fatness of the earth and will also take peace from the earth by that sword, man, by their weapon, by their military might, all right, which needs to say they've done that, man, all right. So ultimately, but the Lord's going to use his men to fight, man. All right. Ultimately, what scriptures say, man, this was the Lord's kingdom. His men, his servants, his men will fight, man. All right, that's what's gonna happen, man. Cause what's synonymous with the fall of this kingdom is the establishment of the kingdom to come, man. The kingdom of heaven, our Lord Yahweh kingdom, which is gonna be what, everlasting, and the men and the nation of Israel are gonna be joint heirs with him, man, pursuing the Romans the 8th chapter. All right. So ultimately, it's just a matter of waiting. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Okay. Because say Habakkuk 2nd chapter always comes out, man. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come when I tarry, man. So although we were subject to being under the rule under the thumb of the devil now. Our enemies have their foot on our necks. It's not going to be everlasting, man. It's for a temporal, man. Ultimately, it's for a little season, as scriptures say. All right. Ultimately, Israel will get the victory and overcome all their enemies, man. Okay. That's coming in the near future, man. Lord willing. All right. He's going to use his men, man, to completely subdue all these heathen nations, man. That same spirit that they used David for. When David went and subdued all the heathen, man, so that way his son could sit on the throne and rule for those 4 years of peace. All right, that was a prelude. That was an example of what the kingdom of hell was going to be. Okay, that was a foreshadowing of what was to come, man. All right, but even Solomon, he couldn't fully rejoice because he knew that it wasn't an everlasting kingdom. Okay, he knew that it wasn't going to be eternal righteousness on the earth, and that would never be, and that it wasn't time for that to be the everlasting standard. Okay, but that time's coming after this. Still multiple prophecies have come to pass, man. But we're at the end of this thing, man. We're at the end of this fourth beast. We're at the end of this fourth heathen kingdom rulership. All right, on the earth. And it's very new future to be time for Jacob's rulership, all right? This second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right, so, all right, Esau's in this world, this eon, this age period, all right? And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, the new world to come, man. All right, that world where that new heaven, new earth within the dwell of righteousness, man. All right, this is what we look forward to. We hasten the day of, man. That's why the beloved elder Apostle Hart coined this year the hopeful year to all the prophecies come to pass, man. Because we look forward to these things, man. Our mind is selling these things, man. All right, Scripture says, store up our treasures in heaven, man. All we look forward to is what we constantly meditate upon. All right. Ultimately, Scripture say that's supposed to be where man's treasures are, that's where his heart should be also, man. So if our treasures are in the kingdom of heaven, that's what we're constantly going to meditate upon. That's what we're constantly going to be striving to get, man. And how we get there, by doing these works, by pushing this word, so the ultimately that elect can be sealed, and then the end can come, man. Once this word goes out through the four corners of the earth, and the elect had that thawa, that mark of resistance from judgment, is still in their mind, well, then we can get the kingdom of heaven, man. All right, we can no longer be subject to any of our enemies. This Sirach chapter 10 in verse 8, it says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom was translated from one people to another. That's plain, man. It's a multitude of scriptures going into the fact that the earth needs new management, man. It's being ruled over wickedly. It is ultimately it's written that ultimately the end goal and all the roads lead to the kingdom of heaven, man. All the roads lead to righteousness being the standard of the earth, and the law of such commandments being mandatory, all right? Being kept, and going forth from out of Zion, man. All right, because why Zion, all right, which is what the Zion in the Hebrew always means, a monument, memorial, man. We'll be a representation of the Heavenly Father, all right, on earth, all right. That's what he sells up for. So he can get that glory. Okay, his way can be kept. All right, that's through the ways of his men, all right? Not by these other nations. Why? Because his men was how the law, statutes, commandments written in their inward parts, man, in their hearts and their minds, all right? And where Hebrews like, man, the mind, we're able to keep these things, man. We're able to keep his ordinance, keep his way, all right? It has to do it to the fullest extent. Be perfect, man. That's what the new covenant is, man. You go to Jeremiah 31st chapter, all right, as well as Hebrews 8 and 8, it's in both the Old and New Testament, man. That's the end goal. All right, us being perfect. And that's why we'll be fit to rule. That's why, that's why we'll have dominion over all the nations forever and ever, man, because we will be perfect. The other nations not going to get the new covenant. They're not going to have the law, statutes, commandments written in inward parts, man. Therefore, they're not going to be able to rule righteously. All right, it's going to be upon us to keep them and hold them to that standard, man. All right, and no letting up, no backing down, man, because we see what happens. All right, we see what happens when you allow wickedness to thrive in the earth, and when you allow wickedness to extremely pollute the earth, as we started with in that second Esdras, man. So yeah, man, I'm gonna make this too long, man. Just just a quick just want to bring that out, man. Ultimately, the kingdom needs the kingdom is nigh at hand. The earth needs new management. There's only one way it's going to happen, man. Not by black power and not by BLM movement, not by circling the black dollar and us trying to stick together, not by China coming into power and conquering, not who they say, not Dubai starting to become becoming this superpower in the earth, not by any other means that other than the nation of Israel being put in power, man. All right, because even you have, all right, Gog and Magog, modern day Russia. All right, even you have them. It's like under the weather right now, but yeah, ultimately, even if you have who's modern day Russia, when they shoot them arrows, all right, from one end to the earth to the other, all right, ultimately as it's written, and they destroy Babylon as well as other as well as other nations. Are ultimately that would just be more heathen in power, man. And those are still Edomites. Those Edomites, those so-called Russians. Those are still Edomites, man. They're all under the same. They're all the same nation. So ultimately, it'll be the same problem continuously. All right, that cycle just been repeat, man. It'll be perpetual. That's what ultimately it needs to be corrected, man. It needs to be changed, man. And again, that's by the Lord's people, Yasharallah, the princes of the power, are being set up. So with that, man, prayers edifying. Call Allah Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Chakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, and shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.